In this video, we'll focus on understanding aspect, a crucial concept in Czech grammar. There are two types of aspect, perfective and imperfective. The main difference between these two aspects is how they view the action. Perfective focuses on the completion of the action. For example, in English, you might say, I will write the email on Friday. The action, writing the email, is seen as a single completed event that will be finished at a specific point in time, which is next Friday. Imperfective focuses on the process or repetition of the action. So in English, something like, I'm writing the email. In this case, I'm in the process of writing the email, and of course, the email is not finished at this time. Another example, I always write emails on Fridays. Here, the action is repeated regularly, showing a habitual pattern, another key use of the imperfective aspect. Now, that was English, but Czech has a very limited number of grammatical tenses. So to express whether an action is completed or ongoing, in other words, to express aspect, you can't rely on different tenses like you can in English. Instead, Czech uses different verbs. Some verbs in Czech are inherently imperfective and some are inherently perfective. Let's look at an example. Perfective, napíšu ten email v pátek. I will write the email on Friday. This describes a completed action. Imperfective, píšu email. I'm writing an email, or I write an email. This describes an ongoing action. The action is not finished. Vždy píšu e-maily v pátek. That is the repeated or habitual activity. You've probably noticed that these verbs look very similar. Píšu comes from the infinitive psát, and napíšu comes from the infinitive napsat. So the perfective verb napsat is actually psát with the prefix na. And that's a typical pattern in Czech. Very often there are verb pairs in which both verbs mean the same, but one verb is imperfective and the other is perfective. As in this example, perfective verbs are often formed by adding a prefix to an imperfective verb. For example, číst, přečíst, which means to read. Imperfective číst turns into perfective přečíst. Čtu email, I am reading an email, which means that the process is still ongoing and not finished. Přečtu ten email, I will read and finish reading the email. Platit, which is imperfective, can turn into zaplatit if you add the prefix za. And it means to pay. Platím účty, I pay the bills, probably regularly. This is a repeating imperfective action. Zaplatím účty, I'll pay the bills and I'll get it done. That's perfective, focusing on completion. Čistit, vyčistit. V pátek budu čistit boty. That is the imperfective verb čistit in the future tense, meaning I will be cleaning the shoes on Friday. So I'm saying that on Friday I will be in the process of cleaning shoes. But I'm not saying the action is going to be completed. V pátek vyčistím boty. I'll clean the shoes and finish it on Friday. The focus is on completion. The shoes will be clean when I'm done. Prefixes that are used typically for that purpose are na, o, po, u, vy, s, z, za. But here we have to be careful, because in the previous examples, the prefix changed only the aspect of the verb, but not the meaning. However, in other cases, a prefix can change both the aspect and the meaning. For example, the imperfective verb psát, to write, can take different prefixes that shift its meaning. Odepsat means to reply in writing, like in the sentence Odepsal jsem na email. I replied to the email. It's now perfective, but also has a different meaning than just to write. Or podepsat, which means to sign. Podepsal jsem smlouvu. I signed the contract. Again, perfective and a different meaning. Or popsat, which means to describe something. So you see, these prefixes are doing more than just changing the aspect. They're giving the verb a whole new meaning. Now, you might be wondering, we created perfective verbs like odepsat, podepsat and popsat by adding a prefix to psát, which is imperfective. But does that mean these perfective verbs don't have imperfective versions of their new meaning? Of course not. There is a way to go the other way round, from perfective back to imperfective, and that's by changing the suffix. So, odepsat, that's the perfective variant of to reply. Odepisovat is the imperfective variant. Podepsat, perfective variant of sign, and podepisovat is the imperfective variant of to sign. And popsat, again perfective, popisovat is imperfective. And this doesn't only apply to verbs with prefixes. You'll also find this with many basic verbs that don't have any prefix at all. For example, dát, which is to give, and it's the perfective variant. Dávat, which has the same meaning, but it is imperfective. Říct, perfective, říkat, imperfective, they both mean to say. The imperfective suffixes would usually be avat, or just vat, ovat, et, at. So we have these pairs of perfective and imperfective verbs created either by adding a prefix or changing the suffix. But there's an interesting effect of having these two types of verbs, and that is that perfective verbs cannot be used in the present tense. Let me explain. Take napsat. A perfective verb meaning to write something and finish writing it. Naturally, you can use it in the past. Napsal jsem zprávu. I wrote and finished the message. That makes sense. The action is complete. But you can't use napsat to describe something that's happening right now. Because if you're doing it right now, the action isn't complete yet. For that, you need the imperfective version. Psát. Píšu zprávu. I'm writing a message. This focuses on the ongoing process. So what happens if you use napsat instead of psát in the present tense? You get napíšu zprávu, and that is I will write and finish the message. It automatically becomes future tense. So in Czech, when you see a perfective verb that looks like it's in the present tense, like napíšu, it's actually referring to a future action that will be completed. The true present tense is only available with imperfective verbs because those can describe an ongoing or habitual action. Let's have a look at some examples. Take the perfective verb vyčistit, to clean something. Vyčistil jsem zrcadlo. I cleaned the mirror and finished it, which is past. Vyčistím zrcadlo. I will clean the mirror and finish it. That is future. Imperfective, čistit. Čistil jsem zrcadlo. I was cleaning the mirror. That's past. čistím zrcadlo, I am cleaning the mirror, or I clean the mirror, that would be present, and budu čistit zrcadlo, I will be cleaning the mirror, that would be future. Another example would be a perfective verb říct, which means to say, once and completely. And its imperfective counterpart, říkat. That's to say something in general or repeatedly. Perfective variant říct. Řekl jsem to. I said it once and the activity was completed and it's of course past. Řeknu to. I will say it. Again, once, and the activity is going to be completed, and that's, of course, future. Imperfective variant, říkat. Říkal jsem to. I was saying it. That means that it was an ongoing process or maybe a repeated activity in the past. Říkám to. I am saying it. It's happening right now or maybe repeatedly in present. So you could say, I say it. Budu to říkat. I will be saying it. Or maybe something like, I'll keep saying it. That would be an ongoing or repeated activity in future. Remember, this video focuses on one specific topic, the concept of aspect in Czech verbs. We haven't yet covered all the different verb forms for various persons or how they work across different tenses. Before we finish here, let me summarize today's topic a little bit for you. Perfective verbs focus on completed actions. Imperfective verbs focus on ongoing or repeated actions. Verb pairs help express the same action in different ways, either as a process or a completed task. Perfective verbs are often formed by adding a prefix, for example, napsat, zaplatit, vyčistit. Be careful, because some prefixes also change the meaning, not just the aspect. Imperfective versions can be formed by changing the suffix. For example, podepsat, podepisovat, dát, dávat. Perfective verbs cannot be used in the present tense, only for past or future completed actions. Imperfective verbs can express all three tenses, past, present, and future. Alright, that's all from me for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, look around our channel, visit langsources.com to listen to news in Czech, download the materials that are in the description below, and don't forget to tune in next time. See you in the next video.